My name is Lorie Gottesman. That's spelled Lorie. Last name is Gottesman.
And how are you employed, ma'am?
I'm employed at the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Laboratory Division.
Okay. And what is your occupation at the FBI laboratory?
I'm a supervisory forensic document examiner.
And how long have you been employed there?
I've been employed at the Federal Bureau of Investigation since 1992, just shy of 20 years.
And can you please share with the ladies and gentlemen of the jury your educational background?
Yes, I received a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from the George Washington University in Washington, D.C., and a Master of Science in Forensic Science from National University in San Diego, California.
And what is the nature of question documents? What does that mean?
Well, as a question document examiner, I examine all different types of documentary evidence. That would include handwriting, handprinting, printing processes, typewriting, plastic bags, shredded paper, torn paper, alterations, obliterations, charred documents, and liquid soap documents. For example, I compare those items with question items with known items for the purpose of trying to determine the question item's authenticity or origin.
And what kind of training do you have in that area?
Well, to become a document examiner at the FBI laboratory, I underwent an intensive training program there at the FBI laboratory. The training included classroom instruction, reading from related books and journals. I attended professional meetings. I went and toured factories. I took tests. I had oral boards. And most importantly, I worked actual cases under the guidance and supervision of actual certified document examiners.
And is question documents not just relating to documents, it relates to a whole different field, does it not? A whole different field, different types of materials, I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, it doesn't necessarily need to be on documents. Sometimes writing can be on different types of surfaces. For example, sometimes a person might write a threat on a bathroom wall, for example, so I might examine the writing on a wall, graffiti, that type of thing. So any type of writing might be on a different substrate. I mentioned torn edges or torn items. It could be some type of packaging that needs to be put back together. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a document. It could be other types of substrates that I look at. So it's not necessarily documents, but it's included in the question documents unit.
Okay. And do you belong to any professional organizations?
Yes. I'm a member of the Mid-Atlantic Association of Forensic Scientists. I'm a member of the American Society for Testing and Materials. And I'm also an assessor for ASCLD Lab, which is the American, for ASCLD Lab, which is the organization which accredits the laboratories.
Is that the American Society of Crime Laboratory
Directors, Laboratory Accreditation Board, thank you. I just drew a blank for a second. And that's international. And I think that's it for now.
Okay. Have you ever been admitted as an expert witness to testify on questioned documents in court?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but somewhere more than 20, maybe 20 to 25 times.
And has that been throughout the country in both state and federal courts?
Yes, I've testified in federal courts and state courts and also in Canada.
At this time, Your Honor, the defense would move to have Ms. Gottesman admitted as an expert in questioned documents.
No objection from the state.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the witness will be accepted as an expert witness in the area of question document examination. You may proceed.
Thank you, sir. Do you, in the course of your work with certain instruments?
Yes, I do.
Can you name some of the instruments that you work with?
Yes, there's certain tools that I work with regularly in my unit. One would be the ESDA machine, that's the electrostatic detection apparatus, and that's used to detect indented writing on documents. Another would be the video spectral comparator, that's also known as the VSC, video spectral comparator.
And what is that? What is that instrument?
That is a tool that document examiners use for a variety of reasons. That is basically a tool that is comprised of a variety of lights and filters, a camera, a computer, and a monitor. And using those different lights and filters, I'm able to see different parts of the spectrum of light and detect different things depending on what it is that I'm actually looking for on the document.
If I can have it. I'd like to refer you to your report on December 22nd, 2008. Did you receive any items to test in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what items did you receive?
At that particular time, I received 3 pieces of tape, actually duct tape. They were identified as items Q62 through items Q64.
And what is your understanding that where these items came from?
It was my understanding that they came from the victim herself.
Do you have your report with you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. With the court's permission, can you look at your report and see exactly where the items were supposed to have come from?
Yes,
You may.
thank you. It says that these items were received from the medical examiner's office.
Okay. And these were the items admitted into evidence, Q62 through Q64, which I believe are
State's Exhibit 302, Counsel.
302. Now, what were you asked to do or to look on these pieces of duct tape for?
The purpose of my examination with respect to these 3 items was to determine if I was able to detect a heart-shaped sticker or a sticker or any remnants from this sticker.
And did you use the video spectral comparator?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'd like to now show you defense Exhibit AU with, as a demonstrative aid. I don't believe we have an objection from the state, Judge. May I?
Is it, in council, just talking about the photographs on that page,
Correct.
not the text?
Correct. Yeah.
If she feels that she needs it, then I have no objection to it.
Okay.
I'd like to show you certain items so you can explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how this, I'll zoom in, so.
Could we just cover the text part, since that's not really before the jury?
Sure.
Because I didn't think that was needed, it's just for the, thanks.
No problem. Okay. Can I publish to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Judge?
Any objection to that being published as demonstrative aid?
No, sir.
Okay, we will publish.
Okay, the VCS, correct? Is that what
It's
it's
the
called?
VSC.
VSC, sorry. The VSC, can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what they're looking at here and how this machine helps you in the course of your work?
Sure. The VSC, as I briefly explained, has a series of lights and filters. And what it does is it allows our eyes to see things that we wouldn't normally allow it to see. Our eyes as human beings see things between 400 and 700 nanometers. And we see things as different colors. We either see things as white if the light is reflected. We see things as black if the light is absorbed. And we see things as colors if it's a combination of absorption and reflection. That's between 400 and 700 nanometers. If we go outside of the 400 and 700 nanometers into the ultraviolet or infrared spectrum, which is before the 400 nanometers or above the 700 nanometers, which where we don't see light, that our eyes can't see it, but using these special lights and filters, we can allow our eyes to see things that we wouldn't normally see. So basically, by putting these documents under those lights and filters, we're able to see things without disturbing the documents or changing the documents that we wouldn't normally see. So basically, this is an example of just putting documents inside the video spectral comparator, which is just a box, and looking at these documents. And you can see with the naked eye, they would have just been white paper, but putting them in perhaps under ultraviolet light, they react differently, where one document is brighter than the other four. So in this particular case, there might have been, say, a 4-page contract or a 4-page will where there might have been a suspected insertion of a page. And in this particular case, one page is different than the other 3. We couldn't see that with the naked eye, but just using some different lights and filters that we wouldn't normally see with our own eyes, and just using this tool to aid us to see something that is outside of that 400 to 700 spectrum, we can see something that we wouldn't normally see.
So if somebody tried to pull a fast one on a wheel, you could spot it by using this instrument?
Right, it could be indicated that there's a different piece of paper.
Okay. And what does this example here show?
Well, this is an example on our right is shredded paper without using any different light except for normal everyday light. Then if you put it in the VSC, you can see that some of the pieces of shred are reacting differently than other pieces of the shred. And in our unit, we do put shredded paper back together. And so we can use this as a method to sort the paper. So it helps us to put the paper back together quickly if we can sort the pages by how they react in the VSC. We know which pages may go back together and which pages don't belong together.
Okay. And what about this example? What does this show you?
Well, this shows, again, on the right is a document that's been cut. There's two pieces where the page is cut using the regular light, and then on the left are those two pieces, again, in the video spectral comparator, and there's some little paper fibers that are luminescing under the video spectral comparator, and we can use that to connect the pieces of paper back together, because these random paper fibers are actually in the paper, but they can't be seen with the naked eye. But using the VSC, we can see those paper fibers and show that those pieces of paper were at one time attached, because we can match them by these fluorescing or luminescing paper fibers.
And the last example that I'll ask you to explain, it appears something with matches here. What is that?
Yes, well, matches from a matchbook have a lot of impurities and debris inside the matches, because all that happens is you strike a match and then throw the match away. So when they make matches, it's kind of the bottom of the barrel as far as paper's concerned. So there's a lot of impurities and debris in that paper. And because of that, there's a lot of fillers, and those fillers fluoresce under the ultraviolet light. So if there was, say, an arson case, and that match is left at the crime scene, and they get a suspect, and they can find the matchbook either on the subject's in their pocket or back at their house, we can match those up again by the bottom. It's maybe a little hard to see here, but there's again some fluorescing pieces that we can line up using the video spectral comparator.
Okay. Tell us how you used the VSC in this case.
Well, in this case, I was unable to see any sticker or sticker fragment with the naked eye. So I went to the video spectral comparator to see if I could find any sticker fragment or remnants from the sticker using the video spectral comparator with some of the different lights and filters where I wasn't able to see it with the naked eye.
Would that include residue as well?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Thinking that perhaps it was out of the normal range of my abilities, out of the 400 to 700 nanometers. So that was my thought, my intention.
Okay. And can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what the results of your examination were?
Well, after trying all of the different lights and different filters, I was unable to detect any sticker or sticker fragment, sticker residue utilizing the VSC.
Okay. Was there any evidence whatsoever of a sticker there on any of these pieces of duct tape?
No.
Now, after you had conducted your examination, were you ever asked to submit a DNA sample?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the reason for that?
Well, about a month later or so, I got a call from one of the analysts in the DNA unit, and she said that they had an unknown profile from one of the pieces of tape, and they were unable to eliminate it from anybody in their unit. and I suppose they have elimination samples. And it wasn't any of the suspects, so they wanted to know if they could get mine, and I readily complied.
Did you later find out that it was your profile on the duct tape?
I did, and it was.
Okay. Now, when you handled these items of evidence, did you handle them with care?
Yes.
And what precautions did you use when handling these items?
Our normal procedure is to wear gloves, and that is what I did.
Okay. And can you recall a situation where you believe you might have contaminated the duct tape? Or do you have no?
No, I have no idea how it happened or when in this particular case.
You at no time sneezed on it or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. And when you scanned these items, were they in protective plastic protectors?
Yes, and looking back at my scanned images, I did notice that they were scanned in the glassine, which is a protective plastic.
Okay. And throughout the entire time that you had these items of evidence, you, of course, exercised great care.
Yes.
Were you given other tests to run on any other items in this case?
Yes, I received other items later.
Okay. And I'd want to direct your attention to April 2nd, your report of April 2nd, 2008. And per stipulation, Judge, these items, I will just speak generally of them. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen
From the state?
I believe we've listed the items in evidence by evidence number. I provided those to counsel. Those would be the items she's referring to. But there are items in evidence that probably should, just for the record, be designated so we're clear what we're talking about.
Sure.
Just some garbage bags.
And what we're referring to are states 294 through 299.
And I guess somebody's going to tell us what they are.
Yes, sir.
You may continue.
Can you tell us what you did, what you were asked to do in this report? If you want to refer to it, go ahead.
Okay, in the whole entire report?
Yes.
I was given a number of different pieces of plastic, and I was basically asked to just give an overall assessment of the plastic, as well as to compare some of the pieces of plastic with some of the other pieces of plastic.
And what were your ultimate conclusions? Were you able to make any matches on any of the plastic?
No, some of the pieces of plastic I was able to eliminate as having originated from one another, and others I was inconclusive on.
Okay. Were you able to match any of the plastic bags from the residence to the scene off Suburban Drive?
No.
I have no further questions, Judge.
Cross-examination?
You received the tape that was referred to a moment ago, States Exhibit 302, after the latent print unit had already examined it. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
So they had examined it, noted something, processed it, went back, tried to photograph it and find it. They couldn't photograph it and find it. You tried to find it. You couldn't find it either.
That's right.
That's the sum of that. As far as the bags, you were given a whole bunch of bags purportedly, and I'll fill this in, Judge, taken from the Anthony residence and compared them to some bags from the scene where the body was found. Is that generally what you were asked to do about these garbage bags?
There was just a couple of bags that I compared from, there was 5 bags from the residence that I compared to 2 items from the medical examiner's office. All of the bags from the scene, I didn't conduct a comparison.
The 2 items were 2
There
black plastic bags from the medical examiner's office. Is that correct?
Can you say that again?
Sorry. The 2 items from the medical examiner's office, those were 2 black plastic bags. Is that correct?
Yes.
Just want the jury to understand what we've been talking about.
Yes. And then there were 2 plastic bags that were known bags from the crime scene that I examined. But the majority of those bags from the crime scene, I didn't conduct a comparison of.
Okay. But in answering counsel's question, you were talking about looking at the bags from the medical examiner's office comparing to the bags from the Anthony house.
Right.
Is that correct? Okay. And you said, and the way you would compare bags is you would look at the fracture patterns in the ends of the bags to see if they could match up.
There's not quite, there's actually machine impressions in the bag as well as impurities in the bag that cross over from one to the other. So it's not actually a torn,
Okay.
it's not actually a tear on the end.
So some of them you can say, no, these were not from the same roll as the bags from the ME, and some it was just inconclusive, maybe, maybe not.
Right. Some were actually different in class characteristics. Maybe one was brown and one was black.
Right.
Those I could eliminate completely.
Right. But the other ones, it's just, you could be, maybe, maybe not.
Right.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
We were talking about the duct tape, ma'am. You mentioned that you were asked to, that DNA was going to be compared from the suspects. Did they indicate who the suspects were?
Sorry, objection. I don't believe she was asking about DNA comparison in cross.
It's about the duct tape. No further questions.
Anyone to be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You may be excused.
Thank you. May I go back to Virginia?
Yes, you may be excused and
Yes, she
return
can go back to
home.
Virginia. May we approach briefly before the next witness is
Yes,
called?
you may.
My name is Cary Oien, Caryoien.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm currently employed as the section chief of the scientific analysis section of the FBI laboratory. Prior to that, I served as the unit chief of the firearms tool marks unit, unit chief of the trace evidence unit, and prior to that, I served as a forensic examiner in the trace evidence unit.
And how long have you been employed with the FBI?
I've been with the FBI just over 15 years.
And what is your educational background?
I have a bachelor's degree in biology and a Master of Science degree in entomology.
And have you received any specialized training in your field?
Yes, as a trace evidence examiner, specifically I was a hair and fiber examiner. I received over a year of on-the-job training at the FBI laboratory that involved lots of reading of scientific papers, books, lots of microscope time looking at different hair samples, fiber samples, learning how to identify hairs and fibers, then comparing hairs and fibers to each other and to known samples, oral examinations, microscopic examinations. At the completion of that training program, I was qualified as an examiner within the trace evidence unit, specifically within the field of hairs and fibers.
And When this case, did you receive any, well, actually, before that, Your Honor, at this time, I would move, unless there's any objection, to have Mr. Oien admitted as an expert in hair and fiber analysis.
No objection.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the witness will be accepted as an expert witness in the area of hair and fiber analysis. You may continue.
When, in September of 2008, where were you working at?
At that time, I was the unit chief of the trace evidence unit, which means I was managing all of the trace evidence unit personnel, the forensic examiners and the physical scientists who work in the unit.
And would that include both Karen Lowe and Stephen Shaw?
Yes, it would.
Okay. And you were asked to conduct an examination in this case, were you not?
I did conduct an examination on this case, yes.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you did.
On this submission of evidence?
Correct. I'm specifically referring to your report of September 12th, 2008.
A submission of evidence came into the laboratory. In this specific instance, the primary examiner, Ms. Lowe, was not present in the laboratory. As I was still a qualified examiner within the discipline, I was taking proficiency tests. I had an opportunity to conduct the analysis so that the evidence could move on and flow throughout the rest of the laboratory. The item of evidence was a shovel. I believe, may I look at my notes
Yes,
quickly?
please.
The state and the defense have agreed that the shovel is in fact the one testified to by Mr. Berner earlier in the trial.
I would agree.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Specifically, it was our designation of Q46, a shovel. It was received into the trace evidence unit for a mineralogic examination, one of the other disciplines within trace evidence, but there were stickers on the shovel. Now, stickers are very good receptors of trace evidence. They're sticky, they hold on to things. So just as a normal course of events, because these stickers were present, even though the shovel was submitted for a mineralogic examination, we wanted to have a hair and fiber examiner take a look at that piece of evidence also. So I went into the processing room with the mineralogy examiner, examined the stickers, the underside of the stickers using low power microscopy, removed debris that I felt was hair or fiber debris, mounted that on a glass microscope slide, and then did my analysis on the glass microscope slide.
Okay. And what were your conclusions?
On one of the stickers, it was specifically the sticker from the shaft of the shovel. I found a very small, approximately quarter-inch long or less, human hair that exhibited Caucasian characteristics on that sticker. The hair, based on the size and the limited nature of the hair, it was not suitable for me to compare to a known sample. So I could not do anything further other than to identify it was a fragment of hair, and then that fragment of hair was removed again from that microscope slide, and then I submitted it to the mitochondrial DNA analysis unit for their subsequent analysis.
And were you advised what the results of the mitochondrial DNA was?
I do not know what the results are, no.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you are the section chief.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as part of the section chief, as part of your job as section chief, is it part of your job to ensure quality assurance within the quality control within the lab?
That is certainly one of the assets of the job. Within each of the case working units that are underneath me, they have unit chiefs that manage the unit, and they each have quality assurance personnel that ensure that the quality system for the laboratory and within each unit is specifically followed.
Now, your laboratory, is it what is called ASCLD certified?
It is ASCLD Lab accredited. Yes.
Accredited. I'm sorry. Okay, and what does that mean?
ASCLD Lab is an organization that will accredit a forensic laboratory. The accreditation process, there are many criteria that are established, and these are actually established by ISO, that
What is ISO?
loosely translated, it's the International Organization for Standardization. It's an international standard. But ASCLD Lab has these criteria that all the laboratories have to follow, and it's everything from the training that personnel need to have in order to qualify to work in a discipline. It's the competency tests that they have to go through. It's, do you have policies and procedures, standard operating procedures for how you conduct your analysis? Do you maintain your equipment? Do you calibrate and validate your equipment? There are management aspects. It's a very broad-reaching accreditation program. And when you volunteer as a laboratory to go through that, you volunteer to have an inspection team or an assessor team come in, assess you against all of those criteria, and determine whether or not you are meeting them.
Does a research lab have to go through these same type of rigorous criteria?
Can you be more specific?
Let me see if I read.
Outside his area of expertise, it's a hair examiner.
Sir, is that outside your area of expertise?
I was going to ask if he could be more specific in what he means by a research lab.
Okay.
Sir?
I can. If a laboratory is not accredited by ASCLD or another one of these organizations, are they pretty much on their own, or are they monitored like an ASCLD certified lab is?
Objection. May we approach? We have a
You may.
discovery issue.
Thank you.
Okay. Cross-examination.
So you found a quarter-inch hair in the back of a sticker.
That's correct.
Don't know who it came from?
That's correct.
Don't know how it got there?
That's correct.
Don't know how it's been there? Don't know how long it's been there?
That's correct.
Don't know what it means?
Other than it's a Caucasian hair fragment,
Okay.
no.
No further question.
Read.
Very brief. Fair to say you did a thorough examination of that item of evidence.
Yes, I did.
No further questions.
May the witness be excused.